afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. Off into an exciting 2 vs 2 on Moscow Outskirts. Between the north, we got here Guard and Brosas fighting for the German army. Deutschland taking on the role here of the 3rd Panzer Division versus the south. We got Sturmpanther and Blackstorm fighting for the Soviet Union. Socialism, the 1st Guards Mechanized Corps. We've got here Shock Army, Defensive Tactics, Urban Defense, Defensive, Lend-Lease and Combined Arms Army versus Scavenge Doctrine, Special Operations, Elite Armored, Jaeger Armor, Close Air Support and Luftwaffe Supply Doctrine. That is certainly quite a selection of doctrines there from both sides. And with Guard here emphasizing to an extent here an interesting aerial role. Death from above, or occasionally death from above, however the Luftwaffe's schedule permits. Pushing up aggressively on the eastern side to secure the area around the church. We can also see though Blackstorm here pushing up. Looks like both Soviet players though aiming here for the classic let's go for a lot of penal troopers and shoot those bastards to death strategy. For the Germans, more full Grenadiers. I imagine here the Kuhwagen for Brosas. For Guard, Grenadiers, MG42. So in many cases rather standard stuff there. Nothing that sort of blows people's minds with its novelty and sheer imagination. My God, Grenadiers and an MG42. I never would have thought of that. This guy's a genius. Yeah, that's not going to be, I think, spoken out there. Sturmpanther's penal troopers squad, they're almost done. Neither players yet to really go on either side. Go for any doctrine there. Going pointed scout car following up there for Blackstorm. Setting out for some motorized action versus the fascists. The Hitlerite scum. Looking forward to those engineers, and that should maybe get them suppressed here. Around here we can see now actually Brosas is switching away from these, perhaps realising of figuring this isn't worth it, and might want to try and support his team in the west base, sort of gain control of the western side of the map that way. Or perhaps there's something else going on with Brosas. It's hard to say either way, though he's splitting up his forces a bit there. Sort of cover more ground in the centre of the map as well here. As Guard is slowly making his way towards the fuel point here, we can see there that Sturmpanther has already dug in, and hang on, cat break. Cat break. A break for cats to get out. The silly little bastards. There we go. Cat break is over. Bit of barbed wire that is trying to now cover in this case the sloppy sewed workmanship. Rather assaulting, not all being covered. But did we have to cover all of it? It's so tough. Yes. I'll have you sent to Gulag for this. Oh, niet. Not again. Again? Yes. I get sent to Gulag for something similar in 1941. People are charging at the Grenadiers. A merry assault there for Sturmpanther. Grenadiers need to fall back though. Most of the forces now begin to shift over here for a larger scale assault here against Sturmpanther's flank. They need to be careful, his own flank is exposed there. We got mounts being laid down the road. Pioneers charging straight at the second people's support there. Not going to be the best engagement there for Guard. In these, but also slowly approaching the scout car. That's going to cause some bit of grief. Same with the penal troops there held up behind an old wooden cart. Ludwig stumbles over dead, finding himself unable to move or breathe or think. MG42 moving out there, so we got 2 MG42s, 2 Grenadiers here for Guard. Shifting a bit back here onto defensive footing as the assault failed. Did not get it properly worked out. This rather than trying to push further ahead with all the machine guns, he basically waits until the infantry is ready to push again, leaving us here with Brosas trying to sort of break down Blackstorm here, as Blackstorm is further gaining ground on the eastern side. I mean, as be able to kill the calf pump, even that is a temporary measure here as Blackstorm storms forward. Not take up additional pioneers for Guard. As the 3rd Panzer Division finds most of its attacks here stalling, and the Russians basically gaining the outskirts of the map, which is also coincidentally where all the fuel is. So while the Germans is getting a lot of munitions, they are not getting enough fuel. And of course, Guard to an extent can maybe offset that a bit with fuel drops, but that still requires he gets one of the fuel points at some point and then calls it in. Sniper out here for Sturmpanther to that way put some pressure there on Guard and his machine guns. Doesn't help that they're not supporting each other very well, so that one is easily overwhelmed even without the sniper. Non-engagement in the west, and in the east we can see that Blackstorm is launching up with a larger scale assault here. Scout cars was reinforced with Kedner for pointing in the wrong direction, and it's about to get overwhelmed here. He probably didn't know what it was, but it was sort of just in the path there, and so easily hit there. Float's going to do this. Oh, he's setting up there. Can he? Nope. Quickly just drives around here in circles. Pretty bad news then. We can see that ultimately Brosas is forced to pull back his Recordman for less loses it. Here we got Pimples being pushed back. Sniper still fighting current from the West Pioneers with the Grenadier support. Finally overwhelming here. Storm Panthers' western positions might be able to secure the fuel point here, but the east has collapsed under the face of Black Storm's swift and brutal, unrelenting assault. Back here, medic bunker up for Brosa. Oh god, tech up done. Brosa's going for mechanized rating headquarters. Will probably try and push for Lux and some kind of mechanized supremacy against the Bolsheviks. But yeah, that is a quite nasty series of events there. But while being laid down there, Gart Mods wants because of some might to set off any sort of vehicles that might be rushing at him. Since the Russians do have a fuel leak there, a T-70 rush should not be beyond their calculations. Just ring about there, mines laying about here as well, wiring off. So Petrov, I feel like this place feels very safe. Yes, let us walk around freely, without worry, for the ground concealing explosives. Yes, I feel this is very good idea too. Quickly deny access there to the track as much as possible. Scout car there. Ooh, nice ambush there by the penal troops to an extent. Oh, folks, what are you doing, Process? I can't watch. Oh god, that could have been horrifying. I mean, the Blob is still kind of nice, like, you know, that horror movie, The Blob. But, you know, just watching someone throw away their men so carelessly. Oh god. Oh god, I don't have the nerves for that. Pressuring up here. He's finally got a fuel pop, but now we can see here that Storm Panther is determined to force him off. In the east, Black Storm is finding himself on the end of a counterstorm as he's being forced back. You also can see that the guard is spreading out his forces very thinly, going for to support them. That's not a bad idea, but they need to make some more serious gains here because the Russians are about to hit them with the light tanks. I mean, Storm Panther on the way there with the T-70, and Black Storm could also very likely follow up, but he's going here for defensive and a Dishka heavy machine gun. Big penal to a push here, supported by the snipers. Going to need support over there. Securing the missions here, but still needs something in the west here. 2-2 on the way, almost done. Grenadier squad white was too slow to hit for guard to retreat, and the cost was quite steep. A full German infantry squad. More mines being laid down here by Broslas. And this one, we got Strafniger flanking in against the Grenadiers. It's going to be a bit of a problem there for Guard and his men. T-70 light tank around there for Storm Panther. We got the 2-2 moving in with its autocannon correction machine gun. But that is going to struggle there versus Storm Panther's T-70. Black Storm yet to go for any sort of armour or vehicles besides that M3A1, which is actually getting closer eventually too. And there we go. Got the Cooperwagen denying Broslas some of his mobility. Hold at the penal troops there. T-70 moving in slowly. There's Recordman from nearby, but until it knows where it is, it can't be there. And now the 2-2 moves up more aggressively, but needs to still be carefully. One wrong move and that T-70's going to have an easy time. And there you go. T-70 spotted. MD-42 setting up. 2-2 falling back in front of it. He's probably trying to bait towards the Kednev here. Engineers carrying the movement path of the Kednev, securing the centre victor point there with Fultz Grenadiers. Managed to harass the eastern fuel point there a bit. Herr Brosras, but ultimately wasn't quite able to hold it. And that does mean the Lux, for example, they might be. Oh, he actually did get it out here. The Lux Aufklärungspanzer needs more support here in the west. Decent, I would actually say good teamwork here to extent between Brosras and Guard. They're quick, so they're able to shift out to support each other depending on the situation. In particular, Broslas is proving himself to be rather flexible in that regard, which is a very good skill to have in a team game. Very good skill. And almost got the sniper team there entirely, but some shoddy gunnery there apparently allowed the sniper, at least one of them, to get away. Still not too bad there. Got Pims of this room to retreating. 2-2 could maybe sort of help the assist here on the white only Strafniki. Low on health already. Going to be across negative cover, and there you go. A gauntlet. They shall not survive. Versus penal troopers and engineers with flamethrowers. They realised they need to be somewhere less flammable than a church made out of wood. In the center, folks are being assaulted by the penal troops as well, being pushed back. Mine goes off, killing Sergei, blowing his feet off, plus a few other limbs. Shifting towards the center, we got Sniper there, creating up penal moving in. Luke's rolling ahead, but he's rather low on health on it. Also nothing, actually, Storm Panther's gone for 2 sniper teams. He's really aiming there for an aggressive bleed strategy versus the Germans. Rather nasty, that. Rather nasty. Engineers for the penal or machine gun moving up. MG4 setting up, or MG34 with full square support here. Need to pull back the Looks here, and over there, Grenadiers reinforcing. Pack 40 following up here to help deal with armour. And, you know, they actually got the fuel back against, and I could sort of maybe begin slightly pushing it, but Gart might want to consider getting a fuel cache up to support both him and Brossas with fuel, so they can sort of begin slightly offsetting it. And there you go, second T-70 out. So we've got 2 T-70s here versus the Germans, giving the Russians their further just field control. And just, you know, a lot of mobility, making it very hard for the Germans to get anywhere. A very nasty work. Then we can see here that Gart is quick to move support here. His teammate as well, very good work there by Guard. But it does mean again he has a lot to manage. So the scout car taking hits from the 222. A lot of autocannon fire here against the Russians in the east. Blackstorm finding his men overwhelmed. His vehicle just destroyed. Could see some engineers still wiped. And there you go, annihilated. But as all of this is happening, though, we can see the Russians make a successful breakthrough because there's nothing to break through. Meaning it's very incredibly easy. This is Captain Petrov reporting amazing success. Excellent. How many fascists did you kill? Oh, there wasn't any. We'll take it. On the other hand, he's about to lose the Pioneers, as that says good for Guard. No telemines laid down here. That would have been a great idea here. Pioneers so far displaying some heavy luck. Pack 40 shoots. Oh! Pioneers actually made it. Filthy lucky there by Guard. Filthy lucky. More pupils was out here for Storm Panther. Blackstorm there. Bit short infantry, though. He's going for double T-70s. Double T-70s. So an indicator of how far they're hit. At least one of them feels like they can get away with it. That really means those Storm Panther needs to consider taking up very fast to bring up some more robust armour long term than just a lot of light tanks, because allies, you know, if the Germans somehow manage to rush out a medium tank, there could be a bit of a problem. Though that does very much require a tech here, and he should probably then go for the Luftwaffe supply or close air support, and then set up supply drops on the fuel point, while of course defending it to the bitter end. Folks, we're still pumping up in the eastern side, got stuff neatly firing back, we got engineers on the way there for Pioneers on the way for Guard, but also it's there, slowly moving ahead as well. Blackstorm with a light anti-tank gun, that's a curious choice. As for Storm Panther, a bit hard to say there what he's planning. We have got so far 1 doctrine now out of 4 possible. Oh, demo charge goes off, taking out the 2-2 barbed wire and a wooden cart. The toll on the civilian economy will be grave. And there you go, teasing around from the Pack 40, the Panzer Surprises 30. Feuer frei, Ludwig. Ah, scheiße, it's too fast. Need for 2 up, a bit of a loss for Guard. So Pomako going up there, great. He just still needs the fuel, and one of the options again would be, you know, somehow kind of fuel boost through one of his doctrines. Looks the managed to help deal with the T-70 problem supported by the Kettenwerfer, leaving them now with only 2 T-70s, including eventually 2 T-70, but with a sliver of health. Petrov, am I supposed to be able to see out through this thing? Yes, through the side, maybe. Through these awfully gun-hole looking holes? Probably not. We should have that looked at. Disco firing. In the west here, another assault here pushing forwards under Storm Panther's command. The snipers there providing covering fire, taking out any points of resistance, particular resistance against glorious socialism. But also as they're sitting up for track, they'd like to be a battle group headquarters because it's way too soon for a Schwerpanzer quarters, which might be a bit of a mistake unless of course Guard is able to get sufficient armor. Of course the issue is they're still lacking in fuel desperately. I'm increasingly feeling like either Luftwaffe supply close air support is going to be a really good idea there for them. Well, for him. I mean, if he can get off just one fuel drop there, he should be able to then just sort of quickly push out a Panzer IV. Stug sort of gain some kind of armoured foothold. Meanwhile, Sturmpanther is not going for anything. He's not taking up, which could likely indicate he's planning here Lend-Lease tactics and just calling in a lot of M4C Shermans. So that way, push against the Germans. That'll certainly be a bit of a chance that the Germans are still very short on fuel, and the Russians, as you might be noticing, are less short on it. Again, you know, the whole double T-70 move. And Eastern fuel point once more lost. The Germans, I think, are putting a bit too much emphasis on the centre of the map and not enough on the fuel. They're basically setting themselves up for a bit of a Stalingrad, which is... Oh, got a wipe there. Ooh. Really close they're actually to getting a wipe on the snipers. Really close there for Brostras. I mean, he still got a wipe on the Punitive Squad, which is great. Sturmpanther, but he's floating too much manpower. That's just silly. Sturmpanther, stop doing that. People who float too much manpower get sent to the gulags. Bring up the Pack 40 there to support. Truck setting up. We're actually planning a spare punted quarters. That wouldn't be a bad idea though still again requires then some more fuel, and which again is the sort of thing the Germans have not been, I think, emphasizing sufficiently. Still no doctrine from any of the German players. And for Sturmpanther, I mean, again, Blacks. Oh, there you go. It was ultimately Lend-Lease here from Sturmpanther. In the end, that was not really a great surprise considering he just went for this and a single T-70. That usually tends to be one of the hallmarks alongside penal troopers. That, you know, he's planning something that rhymes with Lend-Lease. Well, is Lend-Lease. And M4C Shermans. So ultimately, yeah, no big surprise there. No big surprise. And he's got a push here from Brostras Guard in the west here, bouncing on the fuel. He really should consider some telemines, and that's one thing I do think he's lacking, besides the doctrine. Maybe some panzers. Trap Hunters, of course, going to protect the car frontiers. It seems like they are both sort of agreeing that this fuel point is the priority, which is why setting up the Trap Hunters core to support it. I just wish Guard would agree on the idea that he might want to consider at least laying down some telemines to help stop these things. And of course choose a doctrine. Maybe one of the supply drops in it. Needs to send the opting push back. He's going for an Ostwind here. That definitely to me appears like a weak move here for Guard. I mean, they're behind on fuel. We are looking at the 17-minute mark. Even if they haven't seen any medium armor or anything like that, they should be anticipating some coming any time now. And in that regard, the Ostwind's going to be rather weak without some serious medium armor to work with it. So the Ostwind right here feels like a weak choice for Guard, when he probably should be aiming for Stug or Panzer IV, in my opinion. Bring up an Eastern Viewpoint demo charge there, and he's using a Kernwerfer. That's going to be a bit of a bitter experience there for Brostras. Bit of a bitter experience. A bit of a tip there for when it comes to points, and you know you're anticipating them to have demo charge at just any point that you've no opponent uses them. Try and take them from an angle you would not be in a straight line off. And for example, here, you know, here he just went from here. Normally, in this case, I'd probably still try and go from here and sort of take a slightly longer route, so that way avoid, you know, the demo charge, a potential one, anyways. Sort of do it just, you know, automatically. So fuel point lost again. Bet you it's for them. The looks is pretty good there for Brostras. Fuel cache up for the COH, which is really what the Germans should be considering. At least Guard should be considering a fuel cache. You know, as the Russians are building them, just further build their edge. I mean, Sturmpanther's clearly saying about all these resources, he can just begin pumping out this M4C Shermans. Blackstorm's taking up there as well. Well, he's first repairing the tank, then taking up. Noting he's got 3 Dishka machine guns out. Ostwind versus another one. Last thing we reached there, something like, holy moly! Looks like someone had a bit of an accident with a barbed wire. Hey, Petrov! I might have made a mess! What do you mean? Oh god, you wasted so much barbed wire, Pushkin. We shall call it a Soviet art installation for deterring the enemy. Maybe you won't get sent to a gulag for that. Maybe. I'm gonna go first Sherman out here for Sturmpanther, and now Guard's going to be a bit for a rough time. He does have double pack 40s, but as you might be noticing, not quite near within the vicinity. T7 moving about in the north. So we got the Serb players with doctrines, but the Germans are still very much lacking severely in the doctrinal aspects. There you go, Panzer Cannon opening up, and then there's Sherman. Pack 40 getting a decent hit. He's got no Panzerfaust nearby his own. The Pack 40 here. Got going to need something, but pursued him with penal troops in the T70. Osman getting a few hits there. Pack 44 to deal with, of course, exposed the rear to the T70. Very good move there by Sturm Panther. And overall, as we can see here, he did get the Sherman, but it's rather, I think, at a larger cost. You're losing the Pack 40 and some other bits. And you can see that Sturm Panther actually went for Nation 6 to support his Sherman. That's not half bad. Continue to push up the east side there. T70 from Blackstorm being a bit of an issue or a problem. Damaging in the T70, disc it out in the open. Could maybe need to eventually grab it, but that's probably not a priority right now for Brosas. Though choosing a doctrine really should be priority for these players. I mean, they're really basically losing out on most of the doctrines of having any impact or ability sort of usage there. They've really, I think, you know, dropping the ball there, and they need to get it together. I mean, you know, make a decision, people. Make a decision. MT-42 caught with the Diska in the center, in use came at the point, and east. Looks like another demo charge was set off, something blew up. Anyways, T70 getting away there, close to Veterancy 3. Looks though is Veterancy 5. That's an ace reconnaissance crew. Yeah, we see everything. Everything. T-34 on the way there for Blackstorm. Guard can soon go for Stuke. Should definitely consider that before they get swamped with more tanks. Brosas is some time off from any armour, though it doesn't help. He basically went for this first rather than trying to get out some medium armour. Or of course he might be planning for a King Tiger, though. Of course, again, get out some fuel, catch his guard, or drop some fuel, drop sword, maybe. Now then, puts his Sherman out there for Sturm Panther, just as the T-54 arrives here for Blackstorm and the 1st Guards Mechanized Corps. Fun fact, the M4C Sherman was generally actually allotted to only their best units. This is the Guards Mechanized Corps and the Guards Tank Corps. In fact, they would replace T-34-85s with M4C Shermans, which really should tell you something about how they view the Sherman tank. Anti-tank guns, they're supporting a T-54 advance up right flank. There you go, mine down, slowing it down a bit, but there's still overall lack of armour from the German side to really, you know, deal with it. Sniping the sensors here from the Sturm Panther commander, just sniping through all of the Brosas and Guardsmen. They actually got both viewpoints for once there, by the way. That is quickly changing. He's got a massive push up into this side. That's a lighter push into the western side of Sturm Panther. As he lays down the main effort in the centre to try and defeat Guard there. German players continue, though, to not choose a doctrine. Mine goes off, they're killing a few anti-tank crewmen. Pioneers trying to sneak up and catch the snipers of Guard. Pretty risky because there's 2 sniper teams. I mean, they could very quickly run that Pioneer team. Well, pretty dead. There we go, another T-54 for Blackstorm, having lost the previous one. Got Haymore's out there for Blackstorm as well. Oh, another Ostwind for Guard? Really? The opponent's getting a lot of medium tank. If he goes for another Ostwind, I can't help but feel that's a bit of a wrong decision in the current circumstances. But when you consider the map and the only anti-tank they have is, you know, anti-tank guns, which has a much harder time keeping up with anything. So it feels like a mistake there by Guard to go for another Ostwind here. Alongside, you know, not choosing a doctrine only for Brosas. It's also clear that Brosas is doing more here than Guard. I mean, he's basically, you know, got 17 command points than compared to Guard's 13. So now we got Guard could perhaps be carrying a bit more of the weight here. rushing in the Austrian again. It does not make an awful lot of sense that Guard is going for an Austrian. It feels honestly a bit detached from the actual realities of the battlefield, that he's just going for an Austrian and using it as aggressively as that. Another Sherman out there for Sturm Panthers. Got SU-6, T-70 and 2 M4C Shermans here. A lot of medium armour. That's the Germans who's got none so far. Well, besides an Austrian, but that's not really going to stand a chance there. Broadsaws can go for Jagdpanzer now. That wouldn't be a half-bad choice. There's more like an aim for the Panzer IV Panther. I guess the King Tiger again. That's going to be far off. And they have yet to choose a doctrine. 25 minutes of the game and they have yet to choose a doctrine. That definitely feels not frightfully efficient. Fifth cub there being added to the EC8, or not EC8 but M4C. Second one running back, Grenadiers, MD42 moving up here. Fixing out the Ostwind. Broadsaws can soon go for the Panzer IV, but really go for it. Sherman's attacking the Schwab Panzer's quarters. Certainly punishing for not having something ready soon. Pills will be launching up assaulted tanks, basically drawing away fire from the Schwab Panzer, launching close enough to a statue chart to maybe blow it up. Austrian pitting in a bit here. On the east side, we got the T-34 pushing back some of Broadsaws' forces. He's going for the Jagdpanzer there, realising he needs some kind of mobile anti-tank on the field here, meaning he's realised he can't just sit around and wait for the King Tiger. Very good. On the other hand, Broadsaws needs to, not Broadsaws, Guard needs to consider something besides Austrians, and he, both really should consider doctrine. In the case of Broadsaws, at this point, I think elite armour with heat rounds for the Jagdpanzer would serve him extremely well, will increase both the penetration and the damage of the Jagdpanzer, which would help a lot against all of these M4C Shermans. And Guard really should go for some Stugs and a doctrine. Victory points wise, the Russians also ahead. I mean, again, they just get so many advantages because they sort of more consistently hold the field, whereas the Germans are just a bit weaker there. It doesn't help that the Guard keeps going for Austrians when there's clearly not a particularly massive need for them compared to something sort of more directly challenge the enemy tanks. It feels a bit out of touch. Looks they're hammering away though. 42 kills for the fatherland. In the centre, they're just getting swamped here. We've got another could choose away there for Blackstorms. Is going for a lot of rocket artillery there, by the way. Jagdpanzer out. Gauging here in the east. With its high velocity, 75 mm gun support here, but the looks misses though. That's less good. Second shot misses as well. Bit of bad luck there for Broadsaws. Germans sending the defensive as the Russians. Now they could choose out for Blackstorm. Jagdpanzer going in there for the T-34, taking it down to half health, taking it down to half health. T-70 there, virtually feeble. They push about the Germans in the east. Osprey almost taken out here. Guard not going for a Panzer IV Stugs. Is he playing as opposed for an elephant? That would be rather bold. Pack 40 wipe, MD42 wipe, not looking good there for Guard, not looking good. And he's by the way 5 command points behind Broadsaws now. Whereas both players are much closer to each other there. Gonna need to retreat, Pack 40 opening up there on the T-70. Also in need of repairs, got the opponent down to 300 points there, but they're still only at close to 200. Panzerfaust on the Shermans getting some hits in the Pack 40s. Jagdpanzer in the east there being repaired. Could try and move in support here in the west versus all the Russian armour. Got one of the M4C Shermans, a small victory there for Guard. And the German army, the 3rd Panzer Division. 49 kills. Almost wiping out the heavy mortar crew there with well-placed auto cannon fire. 50 kills for the fatherland. Sturmpanther man's just going to keep calling in M4C Shermans, and there we go. Another one out for the motherland. A lot of Arcadians up by the way here for Brosas, a lot of tank destroyers. 186 they're taken out in a matter of seconds. It encounters an awful lot of 88mm rockets. The one Arcadian gets cleared out. Few losses inflicted. Osman on the western side to collect the Disca there. Austrian veterans won with 1 kill. It seems like God is not aiming for the elephant tank destroyer, though it seems very much like he's aiming for it. Russian players might want to consider some smoke there from the heavy mortars. Also some more serious flanks. It does feel like at times they're just relying a bit too much in force and perhaps getting a bit too overconfident, which allows the Germans to get up some better attacks over there. Go heavy loss of the Kedman for wiped out. Mike Geller looks as well. That's only going to be a big loss for Brostas. Pantherfaust on the T-34 and 6 VT2 gain. Luke's trying to get away here, 53 kills and goes down. Yak Panzer moving in, shoots in the T-34, misses. Misses in the west here. We got this here was supported by the infantry shield, pushing back the Pioneers there in the centre. T-34 there being pursued by the Yak Panzer aggressively, violently. They came up with crew by Penal troopers. And there you go, Pack 40 wipes that M40 on the Penal troopers, supporting them there. T-7 trying to escape here, the Yak Panzer. T-7 is there, snipers with 13 and 40 kills, quite insane. German there pushing back the Gandisi in the west. Osman also falling back. Gart there has gone for Jaeger armour finally, and he's aiming there for the elephant tank destroyer though. Really could have done a lot more with the docks, and he chosen soon. He could have half-tracked. He's got a ton of munitions. He'd be laying down Regal mines all over the place. Imagine if he just laid down some Regal mines and caught up all those T-70s. Game would have looked a lot different. So this really just feels like what I call very weak doctrine using this to sort of, you know, I'm only going for it for one thing. Then why did you get it there in the first place? You're not going to use it for anything more than that. It just, you know, feels incredibly wasteful and also, in a sense, a bit unimaginative. And of course, as a cast, it also just feels very disappointing. You know, he could be doing so much more. He just goes for it for a single elephant tank destroyer. Maybe a spotting scope on the elephant. Maybe. Bang points here. Issue 5 versus Yak Panzer. Issue 5 lands his first hit, so that's rather to the advantage of that one. Misses though with the second hit. Yak Panzer might have a chance then. Misses as well though. Oswin here versus this Sherman, not so good. Yak Panzer takes a hit. Issue 5 needs to fall back, I think. Another hit. Yeah, that needs to get out of there. Issue 5 rounds to the centre, trying to disable here the German anti-tank guns with rocket death. MD-42 almost blocked with the rockets, almost got the Pack 40 there. Got the machine gun though. Meanwhile, we got filters of Kendall pushing up the centre. There we go, we got the elephant tank destroyer out here for guard. Still feels like he'd chosen a doctrine sooner than he'd done more with it, and similarly Brosas is yet to go for doctrine as well. So players are losing ground, not enough emphasis on flanking though versus Germans that just are constantly engaging head on until the Germans basically got enough anti-tank weapons to just shatter their tanks when they try that tactic. T-70 they're closing in a bit too actually, and there you go, T-70 goes down to like Kedman after hidden in the bushes, blowing it up with a well-placed shot to the side. Looking a bit more rough here for the Russians now, having lost a lot of armour on increasingly futile head-on assaults without, you know, serious smokescreen support or any attempt at flanking or diversionary measures. Going for the Osman, there we got a Sturmtiger Brosas, then finally goes for lead armour, which he should have done sooner. Couldn't have done more with the Yak Panzer then, so that just feels a bit silly. But there, Elephant gets one of the M4C Shermans with its high velocity 88mm guns, same as on the King Tiger by the way, and the Yak Panther and the Nashorn. Several German vehicles actually use the same gun, as a fun fact. Yak Panther probably one of the more successful of those designed alongside maybe the King Tiger there. Sort of, well, the Nashorn was also recently successful. Elephant there, so Stuga bomb drop there, wipes the Pack 40. Yak Panther moving up, they're even using the heat rounds there for increased damage, they're not really hitting anything. So that was a bit of a shame there, a bit of waste there of the precious rounds. Kenner lands a good hit there on the HD5 Sherman falling back. They're just trying to now constantly push up for the center. They're not trying to land a good hit through on the flanks. They're trying to sort of find a weak spot, overwhelm there, and then sort of try and catch the German off guard. And that does allow the Germans to, of course, focus all the Germans to focus all of the guns on one spot. It makes it hard for the Russians to break through as, you know, the game progresses. The Germans just gets more and more. I mean, the Elephant, the Jagdpanzer, Sturmtiger, that makes a head-on assault increasingly suicidal like this. But they don't try to flank, or at least lay down some smoke screens here. More Pinchers there. Jagdpanzer, 2 kills still. Jagdpanzer hits up initiative 5, falling back. Down to 1 tank. Disco covering the western fuel point. Struger drop doesn't do too much. The guy's just got so much munitions, he just keeps unleashing it because, you know, he might as well spend some of that munitions. But he could also go for air reconnaissance. And process could be mining war, I suppose, or, well, you can't really go for any commanders. But the other commanders can end up in this situation depending on the doctrine that they just have too much munition, but they can't really use it on anything sensible. Wipe the heavy machine gun crew from the face of this earth alongside half of the Kednefer crew. Nasty work to the Sturmtiger. A very nasty piece of work. Yeah, machine fire, we got a shimmering up the gun, just wiping them out there, bit of loss there for guard. And the dritte Panzerdivision here, disco by the Ostwind. More rocket fire on the center again, just continuing attempts of breaking through there. Despite what should have been increased, apparently is a bit futile there. Pack fortifying and support the Ostwind here, pushing back the Sherman, preventing here Sturmpanther from advancing any further. Though he's using air reconnaissance, which is good. We'll have to see that they actually act on it. Machine gun crew, they lost 2 rocket fire. Sturmtiger abandoned. And he just calls in another one. Ah, the engineers might actually be able to steal it. Ah, German infantry scurrying towards it. Who gets it first? Oh, oh no, he's got 2 Sturmtigers. Oh god, 2 Sturmtigers. That's wrong. That's just so wrong. 2 Sturmtigers. Pretty sure the Geneva Convention forbids 2 at the same time. Definitely not something you'd see in a 1 vs 1 there, but well. Air reconnaissance called in. Pulling back with the Sturmtiger a bit. Hit down the issue far from the Jagdpanzer. Yep, there you go. Use heat rounds. You could also combine it, there we go, with signal relay. Big push of the Sturmtiger, Jagdpanzer, Elephant. Second Sturmtiger against 2 Sturmtigers. Katyusha down to the Jagdpanzer, almost fetching the 3 there. Stuger bomb drop down. Ah, wipe the heavy machine gun crew. A fist of steel approaches. A high explosive fist of steel, by the way. 2 Sturmtigers. Oh god. Shot a bit too... Fell a bit too short. Going for a second one. Actually flamed down. Engineers wiped out. GG well played there from Sturmpanther, and I think that's it. Blackstorm seems all to be about it. First got mechanized corps has been shattered here, but the 3rd Panzer Division and its use of double Sturmtigers. Oh my god, that's just disgusting. But anyway, so 2 vs 2 here on Moscow Outskirts. So brutal fighting, rather to an extent calculated with the gems, or sort of made up with the gems to an extent, not focusing off the fuel early game, but so as this once the guys got a bit more resource, began focusing on the centre afterwards. The Russians, though, kept attacking into one thing about to note about the Russians, despite having an advantage, they never tried to leverage some serious flanking assaults. They just tried to leverage it into sort of brutal head-on assaults. In that regard, the Germans were able to just sort of counter it by just laying down enough fire, then just bleeding out the Russians. See all the Raketmers, the likes there, made very difficult for them just to attack with their armour head-on, and they never tried to compensate with smuggling to make it harder for the anti-tank guns to target the tanks as they charge forward. So I definitely feel like the Russians could have benefited from some better tactics here versus the Germans. The Germans could have benefited much sooner from A, hitting for the fuel points harder, but also B, choosing some doctrine sooner. That definitely felt like a huge waste for them. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay and a part of feedbacks in the comments section. And if you like what I do consider donating or pledging on Patreon. Of course, a big thanks to all those who have already. Big thanks to you. You are what allows me to keep doing this day after day. So thank you all, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.